Follow.
We here at Senn TV would like to officially welcome back the Harvard kids at Senn.
Even though most of you decided not to return to school, we took the opportunity to ask staff some questions and find some new changes around the school.
Depending on your grade, you have to enter through a specific door. Freshmen and juniors door 7 and sophomores and seniors door 1.
Daily temperature checks and health screeners are also mandatory. How does it feel to be back at the school with students again?
Feels really good. So I've been here the whole time since last March, and it's been pretty lonely. I've walked the halls lonely, but it's been good to have everybody back. Not a ton of people back, but it's a nice, smooth transition to kind of see what we have to work on and how we can get better for next year when everybody comes back. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's kind of quiet. So I think I was teasing the upperclassmen when they were walking down the hallway. There was like no talking. It was complete silence.
This is the most quiet senior year.
Yeah. So it's kind of. I mean, I think it's been good. I think more people have come back, and it's been nice to see everybody and chat and see how they've been doing.
How does it feel to be back at Senn now?
It feels okay. I've been here since the beginning of the school year, before the students was even in the building, but it's good to see all the students, all the familiar ones that I know, and just seeing them back in the building gives us something to do.
Things are going pretty smoothly, you would say?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I found that this time around, majority of the students that were always, in the halls, now that I see them, they're, going to class more, and then with the virtual learning and stuff, it's barely kids in the hallway after the bell rings. So.
That's good. Okay.
Students have to follow the one-way stickers and 6 feet rule while in the building and stay sanitized before and after you go into the classroom. There are hand sanitizer dispensers all over the school and one outside of every classroom. Also, students have to wipe down their desks before they sit down with wipes that are easily accessible when you first walk into your classroom.
There are also safety procedure signage around the building. There are barcodes in classrooms in order to track the COVID-19 spread. Senior FELICE Lee and staff members tell us how it feels about being back in the building for the first time in a long time.
How does it feel to be back at school? It's better than I thought it would be. I kind of had to relearn the building some, but I like it overall because I get to be around my friends. But yeah, I like it.
How did it feel meeting the teachers that you hadn't met before?
I kind of like, some of them are taller and shorter than I thought they would be. I think that's really it.
How does it feel to be back at school with everybody here?
It's great. There's people in the hallways, there's energy, there's smiles. It's fun. I've been alone in here. I'm new, so it's really great to be around kids and get to know the kids that I've only known through video and email.
How does it feel to see them in person now?
It's crazy. I have to rely on eyeballs, and I'm trying to figure out who everybody is. It's crazy.
How does it feel to be back at school with all in-person students?
It has made me really look forward to the day when everyone can come back to the school. I've been so happy to see some of my students in person, but it's also made me really miss the students that I haven't yet been able to see in person. So I'm really looking forward to the day when everyone can be back together and we get to celebrate that. Yeah.
Was it exciting to see some of the students that you haven't met yet in real life?
Yes, so I teach a class of freshman visual arts students, and I had never met any of them in person, so getting to see some of those faces for the first time was really, really exciting.
Awesome. We hope you are all taking care of yourselves and doing your best to stay safe at home. Let's move on to the next segment.
Hi guys, my name is Tiffany, and for my investigative report, I chose the important topic of vaping. My essential question for my report is, how has the pandemic impacted vaping? Studies have reported a shift in e-cigarette usage by young adults in 2015, and then it was declared an epidemic by the U.S. Surgeon General in 2018. In 2020, 19.6% of high school students and 4.7% of middle school students have been reported of e-cigarette usage according to the National Youth Tobacco Survey. During the COVID-19 pandemic and long isolation at home, young adults have been resorting to vaping as a coping mechanism to help with the added stress that the pandemic has brought to us. I then conducted an interview with our principal, Ms. Beck, about the issue, and went around asking Senn students to fill out a survey I created to get their initial thoughts and opinions on this topic.
I think student vaping in the hallway or in the bathroom or in the building at all is something that was a challenge for us in the past. I think it was a challenge for many high schools. I don't think we were the only ones, but it is something that we were actively trying to combat, both through education. There was a lot of work that we did anytime we actually caught somebody vaping, where they would meet either with Mr. Coolius or various people on staff to be educated about the dangers of vaping. So that was one piece that we were really focused on. Well, I do think that a number of people were probably very stressed, regardless of their situations during the pandemic, right? I think that was something that happened. I don't think anyone was immune to the stress of the pandemic. I do think and hope that because students were home more often with parents who hopefully don't approve of the vaping, it was less accessible to them. I know that often when we would find students vaping and we would call home, parents were often shocked that their student would vape. And that led me to believe that I do appreciate, though, that although people who have said, it's a fewer number of people who are vaping and a fewer number of people who have increased their vaping than those who are or those who have stopped. And so I think that's actually a really important piece, and I hope that continues. I hope maybe the novelty and the use of vapes will continue to decline because of the pandemic. I mean, if there's one good thing that comes out of it, hopefully that could be it. There's very, who knows what, it's hard to think of the good coming out of the pandemic, right? But if it's a decrease and in vaping, then I think that would be considered I think ask for help is always a good way. There's plenty of resources that we both at the school virtually can help provide. If you have that type of relationship with your family or people around you, asking them to help you stop. It's tough. It's hard to quit a habit, but if you are serious about it and you have reasons for doing it, the first few days are always hard, but then it'll get easier. Just you didn't pick the habit up overnight, right? You didn't pick up your first vape and never be able to put it down again. It's something that changes over time. And so I think for people across the board, whether you're trying to change an eating habit or a homework habit, it takes a little bit of time, and it takes some focus, and it takes a plan. But I think if you're committed to that plan, it can happen, and it'll get easier every single day.
I understand that this pandemic has gotten us really stressed at one point, and we would want it to all go away. But vaping isn't a good method to begin with, and can cause some serious damage to your lungs and most likely make you more susceptible to catching COVID-19. If you're having trouble with quitting, and you can contact the CDC for support and coaching at 1-800-QUIT-NOW at 1-800-784-8669.